Brace yourself, sports and music fans, because every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Arizona time is GO time. Introducing one of the hottest, most entertaining, and downright addictive podcasts you'll ever need. PD&J Was Good Today. Hosted by none other than J-Dub the King and Pocket. These two dynamic personalities will keep you on the edge of your seat with their unique blend of humor, storytelling, and knowledge of sports and entertainment. And you know what makes it even better? They're live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can join the conversation and be a part of the action. We're always on the lookout for awesome guests to join us on the show. So if you think you've got what it takes to hang out with J-Dub the King and Pocket, then slide into our inbox at J-Dub the King. That's JDUBBTHAKING. And let's make some magic together. So what are you waiting for? You don't want to miss a single episode. See you on Wednesday. Don't miss out on the exclusive limited edition You Gon' Know Me t-shirts. That's right, You Gon' Know Me t-shirts are now available. Be sure to reach out to J-Dub the King to secure your very own t-shirt today. You can contact J-Dub the King via social media at J-Dub the King or through email at jdubtheking@gmail.com. But that's not all. While you're at it, make sure to keep up the hype by streaming the hit single You Gon' Know Me by J-Dub the King featuring Yuckmouth and Drew on all major digital platforms. Let's keep the momentum going.
What up, Debo? What's going on, man?
You know what? This episode is dedicated to all the bugs that dedicated their life going across the windshields across the world. Nobody gives a shit about y'all, but I do. Let's get it on. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to keep those on.
I don't know what just happened, but anyway, folks, welcome to a brand new week, brand new Wednesday. So you know what that means? It's a brand new episode of PD&J Was Good Today. Now, I normally come in kind of hype, loud, but this show going to be a little bit different. Got some problems that we got to talk about.
I just told you the problem I had. Nobody ever give shots out to the damn bugs across the windshield and stuff. They sacrifice. So you have to keep your car clean. Keep car dealerships that clean cars in business. Shout out to Superstar. Keep the car clean. Okay, there's other ones out there. Little mom and pop organizations. The mobile detailers. They're not agile, but they're mobile.
You done? I got something serious on.
And I'm not being serious. Don't them bugs make you keep your car clean?
Don't the bugs make you want to jump? Anyway, so I got a serious conversation or a topic I want to bring up real quick. And those that are tuning in live with us right now, go ahead and post in the chat because I got a question to ask y'all right now. I was actually thinking about some music lineups, right? And we kind of touched on this in a previous episode. If you don't know, go back and watch.
We did?
Yeah, we did. As far as like the music transitioning right now, we kind of touched on it. We didn't go in depth, right?
I'm gonna have to watch the show my damn self because I don't remember talking about music at all.
We talked about it, just touched on it in the aspect of the hip hop rap era. We're going back into I'm not even gonna say a 90s R&B era, but that R&B.
We'll never go there. We're going back. We're going to an R&B era. That's just it. We're going
and
to.
I'm liking this R&B era that I'm seeing both male and female. Now, that being said, I was thinking about if there was a concert to come out, who would in regards to R&B. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Okay. But as far as R&B, I'm going to give you a male lineup, and I'm also going to give you a female lineup. Now I'm going to give you 3. I want you to add a 4. Can you stop with the cut? You're distracting me.
I'm listening. Go.
So I'm going to start off with the male. Now, when it comes to the male R&B, as far as currently now, there's 3 of them that I would like to see in the lineup right now. I would love to see Lucky Day, Leon Thomas, and October London.
Ooh, I just thought of something.
Now, my 4th throw-in would be Mario. I would throw Mario in that lineup.
About this? To open up, it goes dark, right?
And you got Rufus come out?
No.
Jerome.
Nope. It goes out, and then, bam, on the screen, you see Jail Cell.
Did he?
R. Kelly.
Oh, shit. Nope. That nigga, I will not pay that motherfucker to do a concert behind
You can't pay him. You just got to put money on his books.
That's still paying the motherfucker.
You ain't paying him to put money on. Come on,
I'm
man.
film you,
bro.
I'm gonna film you doing a concert in a jail cell,
bro. I'm telling you,
and
that would break the internet. That will
break.
That would be the first time of anything. Can you imagine that? It goes dark. Everything goes dark. Like, what the hell?
I can see if that was to happen, that nigga gonna open up with the song "Braid My Hair."
The nigga gonna be there. Oh my God, I'm on TV.
Oh shit. That's hilarious. No, but on some real shit though, I wouldn't even throw R. Kelly. I'm talking about like new generation of.
But
R&B.
thinking about to open it up, that'd be the passing of the torch. You're not catching what I'm saying. Let him open up, pass the torch.
He's passing the booty.
He ain't passing nothing right now. He's safe as hell. Ain't nothing happening to him right now in jail.
Okay.
He's safe as hell.
Whatever. No, but on some real shit though. How about that lineup though? Leon Thomas, Lucky Day, October London, and maybe Mario. As far as the all-male R&B lineup of current R&B that's out right now, solid R&B that's out right now.
That's what you just said. Like it's current and
solid. Yeah, it's solid.
And
it kind of reminds you of that 90s vibe.
Stop cementing the 90s.
Minus that.
Say 2000s. You're safer.
Oh, see, what real R&B was in? Okay,
the early 2000s, you still had some remnants coming out, but don't say 90s.
When I mention 90s, I'm not going into early 90s or mid 90s because mid 90s that was the classic era R&B, but more so late 90s. I'm going to say 97, 98, 99.
But see, if you mention the 90s at all, nobody thinks about that.
Correct.
That's why I said don't even say 90s R&B. Just if you're going to say anything, say 2000s. You're safer.
Well, even 2000 because you still
because the transition done in 2000
after 2003 R&B was horrible.
Exactly. But the whole thing is,
and I thank IMX for that shit.
But
they want to. If y'all don't know who RMX is,
look it up. Actually, don't give them the stream.
Oh, ooh, baby. But I ain't gonna lie. Back in that day, I did was getting me played though. So I was playing it because it was getting me played. But it's like, God damn it. I look at it now and I'm like, shit. Why? Like it was the B2K phenomenon at that time. Early 2000s was the B2K phenomenon. And I can't stand it. Why? And I blame my there's 2 people that I blame for this. My mother and my sister. Why? Because my sister wanted to go to a B2K concert and my mother bought the tickets. And the only reason why she would let her go is if me and my brother had took her. And so we took her and my mom actually got her front row tickets. So when them motherfuckers hit the stage, them motherfuckers swore, and you know Celebrity Theater, they got that guard barricade in the front, right? We got pushed to the fucking front, and I'm over here trying to block everybody from squishing her, and oh, it was a horrible night, bro. So yeah, early 2000s R&B, that B2K, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
2000, but be serious for a minute. I want to do a shout out to Phil Pasco's family. An old school friend of mine, talking about the 2000s and 90s. He passed away of a heart attack last night. kind of reality for me. We're the same age. Birthdays a couple days apart. So shout out to his family. Died of a heart attack last night. When you said 90s and 2000s, like, wow, that just reminded me of Phil. Because that.
And dude, it really makes me feel when I look over the decades of music and how it's evolved. I'm not even going to say progress. I'm going to say evolved, right? And it's just crazy. And like I said, with the current R&B that's coming out right now, it is so solid. Solid. Male and female. Now, let me give you my female lineup. I would like to see.
You know what's funny? I just thought about. You said current music and the Go ahead. I'm gonna button hook you on this one because you forgot about her. But you didn't forget about her because you're just thinking about the young artist, which I give it to you. That's fine.
I am just thinking about like the young.
That's fine. But right now, when you say current R&B, you are forgetting this one person.
Okay, well, let me give you my lineup, my female lineup first. All right. Now, like I said, with the males, it would be Lucky Day.
Bro, you already did males. Get
okay. So the females, I would have SZA, Summer Walker, and Ella Mai. Now the problem is I can't figure out my fourth on that one. There's three of them that I'm jumbling in my head right now.
There's one that trumps them all because she has a new album and it's banging. Mary J. See, you forgot. That's what
I didn't forget Mary J.
You forgot to even mention her in the aspect of it.
Like I said, current, young, but solid. Current. The new generation of R&B.
And black don't crack, so she's still young.
Lord God, Jesus. She's still fuckable. I still want to sit down with her and get her whole story, like the undocumented story. Like we heard the rumors.
It's undocumented for a reason.
Man.
So you're not gonna get the story. That's the problem.
No cameras, no nothing. Just me and her. We just want to sit down. I just want to sit down and talk.
Bro, I know you better than yourself. You're gonna sit there as soon as you find out. You're gonna gossip like anybody else.
Only in a certain few. And the few that I got, I would tell to. I know they ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, true, yeah. Well, we know that.
I mean, so it's like that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. But as far as publicly putting her on display, I wouldn't do that. And you know that.
Actually, you know what? I would put her on display, but not to talk about that. Talk about the struggle, the actual struggles that she didn't tell anybody else. And I believe that it's easy to get it out of her. It's just,
you know what? Who would?
I can't. So no.
You know what? Who would actually be the best subject for that topic? I'm gonna throw her out there, and I guarantee it's somebody you ain't even on, not even in the catastrophic atmosphere of thinking about.
Who?
Michelle. I would want to sit down
because all right, here's the thing. The reason why I didn't see her do some things in Baltimore clubs that I don't even want to get anywhere near that woman. I'm just gonna put it like that.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna throw somebody out there that I actually want to get their story on why they got blackballed out the industry. Lil Mo.
I was gonna go.
She was very talented.
Dang, I just saw her name. The girl I'm thinking about, the queen of Rockefeller. I can't think of her name right now.
Million?
Yeah. I would rather hear what she has to say. Because the thing is, what people thought ain't exactly right. Well, actually, not. No, I'm not gonna be like that. I'm gonna tell like it is. What people thought about her isn't right.
Yeah, and the thing about it, she came out and said, look, she saw the politics in the industry from jump, and
it wasn't. That's not what she said. She said she got released from Rockefeller because they said, you're not soft enough. We don't need this, that, and the other. And then I went, and what was funny,
but I went back and started on Instagram and retorted that.
And what was funny was when you go back and listen to her album, she ain't no different than Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, anybody.
It was that female that they was trying to. It was that.
But they wanted a soft female in Rockefeller.
No, because they already had in Rockefeller. They already had for a female. Who the fuck?
They didn't.
Foxy.
Foxy was not officially Rockefeller. Go back and look it up. She wasn't officially Rockefeller. That was a problem. They were trying to get Foxy, and Million ruined it. because she came out harder than Foxy, and Foxy was like, "Oh hell no, y'all already got so and so. Why you need me?" And then what they do?
Well, industry is fucked up, but yeah, like I said, I would love to see LMA, SZA, and Summer Walker in a show, and then I would love to see.
Well, you know what? Let's.
I would love.
Let me do something right quick.
Lucky Day, Leon Thomas, and October London do a show. That would be a dope ass show. All right, so let's get into the topic of what the title of the show is.
I forgot about her too.
Are they for real? Like, are they really serious right now?
What the Lord is.
Here you go.
When's the last time Diana Ross did an album?
2 years ago.
You sure about that?
Yeah. I saw a little thing that she had did. It wasn't even a full album, actually. She had did a couple of tracks to release some music.
I said album, did I not?
They consider it an album, but whatever. I mean, nowadays when you put 5 tracks on I call it an EP, but they don't call it EPs no more. They call it LPs.
Ooh, oh man, forgot about her, Tyler. Forgot about her.
Tyler's expensive though.
Yeah, well, the thing is with that lineup,
that would be my fourth actually. As a female, that would actually. I'm glad you mentioned her. That would be Tyler, Summer Walker, SZA, Element.
That's gonna sell itself.
That would be a bomb ass female lineup.
That's gonna sell itself.
That would. Okay. I'm glad you brought it. Yeah, perfect. Because you got every element of R&B in that one show.
You got the men basher. You got the men lover. You got the in between, and you just got the person about loving everything.
Shut up.
I'm not shutting up. It happens every time. When you look at an R&B female concert, go look up female concert, and you will have exactly that right there. The men hater and basher, the men lover, the one that does both because she's coming out of a breakup, and then you got the one that says, "Screw all that, love everybody."
You got the one that's in between because you just come out of a breakup. Shut up. Shut up.
Hey, bro, look at any R&B lineup. They do it perfect like that. And then they're gonna mix the men with the women. They're gonna throw a woman out there that nobody wants to see. Tamar Braxton. You're gonna throw a woman in there that nobody wants to see.
Oh my God. Can we move on? You did. Can we move on?
Damn.
They sure did.
Did y'all hear what I said? Y'all didn't hear me say Tamar Braxton? I'm just gonna lay down right here.
That's ass. I'll just say
He might do.
yeah.
Her breath sound like shit. I mean, her breath. Her voice sounds like shit.
Hey,
I was trying to stare what her breath sounds like.
I don't know.
Her breath sounds like. Anytime your breath sound bad, you can't sing.
Oh shit! So moving on. Are we done? Can we move on now? No, he still got something to say. I know. Go ahead, say it. Say it. Because you're not gonna let me move on till you say it.
I am.
Our people know that you.
I have nothing left to say, but when you have men and women together in our hip hop or R&B show, they're always gonna put the one female that nobody wants to see and sandwich her in between the male artists that everybody wants to see.
Like, what is it, K. Michelle? Oh shit! God damn.
See?
They didn't hear me.
And then what's funny is she got the implants, realized nobody liked what she looked like. They got the implants taken out. Now she look worse than she did before. But we ain't gonna talk about K. Michelle. I mean, people like that. So you got to move on, man. You're gonna keep me going.
You ain't done yet.
I'm done.
You done? Are you done? Or are you just done?
Then you have the other concerts where you try to get the dudes to come out with the women. So you throw somebody that's a little bit of hood, but not too hood, like Jennings, in between everybody else. Because, they can identify with Life.
Life is actually a cool dude. I met him.
I'm not saying he's not cool,
Yeah,
but they will.
good.
But the thing is, they will throw him into a lineup with female artists that are good. But you want to get the dudes out there with the women, so you're gonna throw him in there to get them out there. You know what's gonna happen? The opener is gonna be the one, but like, dude, why are we here?
Or you just do a bill where you got nothing but crackheads on the lineup like Jaheim. Oh shit, goddamn.
And Genuine. But we're not gonna talk about that. Genuine looking like
Case. Oh shit.
What was it? What is what's the family guy?
Shut up. Just shut up. All right, we're moving on.
Giggity. Truly, you're supposed to stop this, man.
All right, let's move on to something real serious, right?
Can we talk for a minute?
Can we? Let's break bread for a minute. Something's really irritating the fuck out of me. And I just gotta be blunt because I gotta get this off my chest. This is a forum that I want to use as an outlet, if I could, right? All right, y'all stop laughing at me, okay? Y'all stop laughing at us. I'm trying to get serious.
Stop encouraging us because I don't need to be encouraged. I'm just gonna. Maybe I can't be seen. Can you still see me? They can. But I see dead people. So hard you did. Oh, so they can see you. But let me see them. No, you can't. I can't see them. Let's keep moving, baby. Maybe
disappear. Anyway, so on a real serious note, something that's been recently popped in the news. Texas, I don't know what the fuck's going on in y'all state right now. I kind of like it, but I don't. When we talked a few weeks ago, we said the revolution is happening, right? Everything that's been going on. But here's the thing that pissed me off. And it reminded me of an incident that we talked about just last year. I think it was this time last year.
So I'm not gonna remember pre-concussion. You want to tell?
So here's the thing. There's a young man, 17 years old, by the name of Carmelo Anthony. And no, it's not Carmelo, the ball player.
You said 17, so we know it's not Melo.
Or his son. Kid by the name of Carmelo Anthony, who is a model student, straight A student, captain of the football team, captain of the track team, and other accolades, was at a scrimmage / practice, and they were setting up the tents. You know, the tents where players sit up under to get away from the beating sun and everything like that. He's helping setting up the tents. They haven't even begun the practice or scrimmage or whatever case may be. So the teams aren't out there, this, that, and whatever. Carmelo, obviously by the name, you would assume he's black. Yes, a young black male gets into the altercation with a young white male. The young white male comes over and accosts Carmelo. Why? Because Carmelo just got done putting up a tent. And he was sitting up under the tent for a minute to chill out, relax, and get away from the sun. And this white kid gonna come up and tell him, oh, you in the wrong tent or something along the lines, right? Started accosting him. Then put his hands on him. Carmelo turned the other cheek and warned him and said, please do not put your hands on me again. The young white kid put his hands on him again. Now, reports say that Carmelo had a knife. Come to find out, he did not have a knife. What he actually had was one of the tools in his possession that he was setting the tents up with. And he stabbed this young white kid. Yes, this kid lost his life. He got stabbed in the heart. Unfortunate situation. Very bad situation. A family, a mother and a father lost a son. And yes, the kid had a twin brother, and he died in his brother's arms, I believe the story said. The article says, right? So his twin brother had to watch his brother die in his arms. It's a very unfortunate situation. But it's one of those type of situations where there's two things that I see that's happening. One, they've been dragging this young man through the mud. They want to presume like this kid is a thug. They tried to look up and see if he had an arrest record, never been arrested. Tried to make it seem like he had beef in the school and he was fighting in this, not one incident in school. So you're trying to drag this young man through the mud. And the reason why I said this is something similar to what we talked about last year. If y'all remember, there was a 15-year-old girl, forgive me, I can't remember her name, got into a fight, minding her business, sitting on the bleachers.
No, dude, you confusing stories. The 15-year-old girl was with her friends,
and the friend was getting bullied. The friend was getting bullied, and old girl had stepped in, and she wasn't even the first one to throw the punch. The little white girl threw the punch first, and all she did was defend herself. Now, the unfortunate situation about that is that little white girl fucked around and found out and ended up getting her cranium cracked. But they locked that 15-year-old girl up, and not only the teachers, but police and everybody that was around the situations was speaking in defense of that 15-year-old girl, and they kept that little 15-year-old girl in jail, and then they swept the story up under the rug because it started getting too much heat. Do you even know if she got out? Do you know any of the disposition of that story or not?
Yeah, she was out. She didn't even, so the thing is, she was already out.
Okay, she did get out. All right.
She was already out. She didn't necessarily get arrested. She got charges brought against her for the medical bills. And then they tried to bring the charges for what do you call it? Assault. But when the truth came out,
they dropped them.
Right, they dropped them. And the family backtracked.
Yeah, the family was over there talking. And then that's the thing about the little white girl. The family came out, not just family, but other people. The little white girl was a problem child.
Yeah, it came out. All the stuff came out about how she was sent home
the day before. She wasn't even.
She was expelled. She was suspended, expelled, and she had her father pick her up and drive her back to the school.
Yep. And the reason why I say they're parallel is they're
not necessarily parallel, but the thing is,
they're similar.
They're similar. Well, not similar because somebody died in the Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, correct.
The other girl had a cracked her head.
Died, though.
Right. She had a brain bleed, and they caught it.
And then when we talked about it, everybody started getting on us talking about, well, a child got hurt and this, that, and everything. Look, you fuck around, you find out. You cannot go around being the aggressor. And then when you get your ass fucked up, you want to call and cry, victim. I'm sorry, I cannot support that.
So here's what I want to do. I want to give people paint a actual picture for the Carmelo Anthony. First thing I want to say is
condolences to the family of the son that was killed, because
that's not what I want to say.
Okay.
Well, that's part of it. Let me take that back. That's part of what I want to say. Condolences to two families, because two families are affected in this.
Yeah.
That's my first thing. Second thing, I honestly don't know who Carmelo Anthony is. And what I mean by that is, until we sift through all of the false and the narrative, I'm going to say it again. Before we sift through the false and the narrative, nobody on this green earth, besides the ones in Frisco, Texas, know who Carmelo Anthony is. Nobody knows who this other twin, because they were twins, know who they are. But we do know this. There was an altercation. Carmelo Anthony was pushed to his edge. Somebody lost their life.
And then they want to try to push the narrative that the young man fled.
No, they did not push that narrative.
I heard that. I read that in an article out of Chicago, not Chicago, Texas 5, CBS, whatever it is, out of the CBS News that come out of Texas, their local CBS News. They said that the young man tried to flee. He did not flee. He went to a teacher, supervisor, somebody, and security guard, and said what he did.
No, what he said was, I'm not alleged.
I defended myself. And then asked if the boy was okay.
Then when the police got there, he said,
is the boy okay?
No, we didn't ask that. He said, isn't this considered self-defense? Now, I'm going to come from the other side, because what happened is, if there was no race in this situation,
if it was two black kids,
no, not even that.
2 white kids, we wouldn't hear about it.
If it was 2 white kids, if it was 2 Mexicans, it was 2 black kids, if it was same race,
we wouldn't hear about it.
Period. Would it be this much uproar with so much division? People are talking about, why did he get on bail? The family bought a house with the money. This, that, and the other. Who the hell cares?
Hold on. And his lawyer came back and said, look, because he had a high bill.
$1 million bond.
$1 million bond. And his lawyer
that was dropped to $250,000.
They dropped it to $250,000. And the thing about it, the father was questioned because they had a GoFundMe account or a Kickstarter, and they were all like, well, why don't you use that money to pay his bill? And he was all like, that money would be better used for his legal defense.
Now, here's the thing: what happened? The family did buy a new house with part of the money because they needed to move from where they were. They were being threatened. They went to a gated community feeling they would be safer. The lawyers are working pro bono, and people are, if you look at it right now,
people are still donating to that goddamn GoFundMe.
No, it's not. The GoFundMe has been taken down. GoFundMe took it down. GoFundMe took that down.
Why?
Because of the ruckus and the uproar. Because cancel culture won again.
Last time I checked, which was Monday, that shit was still up.
No.
And I was reading an article that people were still donating to that goddamn.
So you did not read what I sent you, in other words. So no.
When did you send it to me? I've been a little bit busy
because the whole thing is, the GoFundMe has been taken down because they feel like what GoFundMe is, they're not to support criminals. So I agree with their bylaws and their restrictions and stuff like that. It's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it because they did that. Remember before when we asked for that for the girl we just talked about? Remember the white girl for her medical expenses? What did they do? They took it down. So I'm okay with that. Call a spade a spade. I'm cool. Now the family's got to do things a different way. Who cares? Don't care. But now it's about them being safe. He's out. He's home. What happens next? What I see, and this is just me looking at the case, if the bond got reduced, things are looking better for him.
It's looking very good as long as Ben Carson ain't his attorney.
Oh, Jesus. No, it's not.
Did I say that out loud? Oh, shit.
But the whole thing is,
sorry.
He's not a victim. So Ben Carson has nothing. Not Ben Carson. You're the wrong guy. That's not Ben Carson. I know you're talking about, but the people you're talking about, they ain't going to take this because he's not a victim.
Is he not? If it was self-defense, he's a victim.
If he was killed, they defend the family. They come for the family.
And then take 50%.
Oh, wait. I'm looking. You know what I'm looking for? Anybody know what I'm looking for? Who do I despise the most? Who do I despise the most? Let me give you an idea. They bought housing in Canada and then said they were embezzling money. Only for blacks? What about us? You realize, if you're trying to think, why am I not saying their name? Because when you say the name, it gives them what? Media. So I'm not saying their name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Even if I say the acronym, I can't even do that. I can't give letters.
Look, I just don't give.
Well, actually, you know what?
People matter.
People matter. They ain't there.
I don't give a fuck about none of them foundations. If they ain't donating to two causes, if they ain't donating to the PD&J fund or the J. the King Foundation, I don't give a fuck about them.
Actually, I'm not going to say that because that's going to be selfish. If they're not doing anything for the betterment of society, and if you want to take it a little bit further, since what they represent, the betterment of Black society.
I wish they didn't kill off the Black Panther movement. It tried to resurge itself, and they just didn't pick up enough steam. But I really wish they didn't kill that Black Panther movement. That if the 60 era of the Black Panther movement continued, bro, that revolution, imagine where we would be at right now.
You know, it's funny. I want
imagine.
There's a video I sent you. I want you to look at, but I'm gonna expound on it right now. This woman went off, and she said, if this generation is the ones that's supposed to do things,
they soft as fuck.
They believe in canceling everything, but they don't know how to cancel anything,
and they don't know how to fight. This younger generation is soft as fuck. They pussies. They either do the cancel culture shit, or they want to be real quick to shoot up and bang bang, but then want to cry and plead help and call victim. No, nigga, no.
And I'm glad you mentioned.
Fuck out of it. I'm tired of it.
What's hilarious? So here's the thing. I've kind of disassociated myself with a lot of stuff because I'm tired of it. So I've been watching a lot of baby elephant videos.
Oh my god.
Pet videos.
Apparently, our show is going to be cut early. Go fuck.
Because I am so tired of. We need to cancel this. We need to stop this. So how do you stop it? I don't know. We just need to stop it.
I'm tired of seeing motherfuckers shoot up. First of all, you want to have a gun and don't practice, don't know how to aim, don't know how to hit your goddamn target, but you want to shoot up motherfuckers, and then you shooting up civilians and innocent motherfuckers because you don't know how to aim. Instead of getting in the goddamn sand and taking that goddamn L. If you go heads up and you get your ass, hey, I ain't gonna lie, some of the best friendships that I've ever had growing up started out as beef and a fight.
Did you not hear me mention Phil? And I told you about some of the history with me and him. Yeah, we knuckled up. We were never friends afterwards. But that's his choice, not mine.
It's a mutual. Some of the best. One or two things happen. You got a mutual respect for a motherfucker where you be all like, all right, I ain't gonna fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. We stay clear. Or there's a relationship that forms.
It's bonded because of it.
You understand what I'm saying? These little motherfuckers can't understand that shit.
They don't understand there's no bonds. They believe my word is my bond.
And then 9 times out of 10, guess why you going over there trying to shoot a motherfucker? Over a bitch that don't even fucking matter to begin with.
And why you shooting up, oh boy, she was somebody else.
Yeah.
She was somebody else.
Man, y'all niggas need to, no, I don't get it, man. I don't.
Well, you know what? We forgot to put this up there. You know what? I forgot to wear today? My FIFO shirt. I'm going to wear it. But the thing is, you know what? I'm going to wear it and y'all going to understand why I didn't wear it right away. I should have wore that today, but whatever. I'm going to wear it. But
now, I want to move on to something else that's a little bit disturbing.
Ooh, not that.
Condolences to the family of the LSU player that just lost his life.
If you don't know,
projected first round draft pick,
wide receiver coming out of LSU. Here's the thing.
So December of last year, he hit somebody and that person died. Now, he wasn't intoxicated, but he got charged. And the charges, it beyonds me because you couldn't find nothing else to pin him on, but you got him for not even vehicular manslaughter. Y'all, they charged him with neglect vehicle homicide. What caused the accident? Story's still coming out.
So okay, so I'm gonna because let me just get to the gist of it. He killed a 78-year-old man in Louisiana.
Okay.
He was trying. The man was trying to avoid Lacey's car. He was driving recklessly and speeding in a no passing zone.
Okay.
It was a head-on crash.
So
he could declare for the draft, and his draft, first of all, his draft position took a hit. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. He led LSU in
receiving yards, touchdowns.
No, he led in touchdowns. He was second in receiving yards, second in catches.
Okay. So here's the thing that happened. So the accident happened in December.
Here's the big thing. He fled the scene without calling for help. That's why everything was upgraded. And he felt
he was scared.
Actually, we don't know how.
We
don't know how. We don't know.
I'm assuming. I'm going to assume me putting myself in his shoes at that time. Even if I'm driving recklessly, I'm having fun. I'm not expecting to hit somebody. I hit somebody. Oh shit! I'm freaking out. I drive off. Whatever.
Now here's the thing. Well, here's the thing that makes it interesting. So the sheriff's office was called after weapons disturbance by a relative, saying Lacey had been involved in a verbal argument with her and that he had discharged a firearm into the ground. When the responding officers learned that he had fled the scene in a vehicle, and about 20 minutes later, this is after that. So apparently, the night he murdered himself, he killed himself, committed suicide.
He had already gotten an altercation with somebody.
He got into an altercation with somebody of his family.
Okay,
he fired a gun into the ground. He left. Police found out.
Himself.
Chased him down, and when they finally caught up to him, that's when he killed himself.
So here's the thing about it. The incident where he hit the man happened in December. This LSU player just recently killed himself. We don't know his mental stability. He could have been living with CTE or whatever it is that they're saying that football players and MMA players get and stuff like that. But at the age of where he was at, they said that it shouldn't develop at that time. Whatever. I'm thinking this man was already dealing with the guilt of that he killed somebody. And I don't think he went out and intentionally killed that 78-year-old man. So he was already dealing with the guilt of that. And people deal with grief and guilt differently. Some are more agitated than others. Some are more secluded than others. They deal with grief and guilt differently. So he's dealing with that. And then all of a sudden, this charge comes down the pipeline. There are certain people that ain't built to be behind the walls.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know where you got with upgraded. This is what I've read this a couple times. This is what I want to say. He killed himself a day before the grand jury was set to start hearing evidence on alleged involvement in the fatal crash. They never said the charges were changed. But the day before, and this is flat off CBS Louisiana, the day before, and there was never. And now here's what the lawyer. I like his statement. Kyren was a young man with immense promise, and he was crushed under the weight of an irresponsible and prejudiced process. There was never a presumption of innocence, which was exemplified by the NFL pulling his draft card over mere accusations without affording him the slightest chance to defend himself.
So the
pressure in perception likely became unbearable. So that what the lawyer is saying is the fact that his draft card was pulled, among anything else.
But see, here's the thing. He was charged with neglected homicide.
Felony hit and run.
The reckless observation.
Operational vehicle.
Yeah. And that was on December 17th, the same day as the accident. So he was hit with all three of them charges.
Which it makes sense because he fled the fucking scene.
Exactly. So and then when you go into the grand jury for the formal, you've already been, the charges have been filed. You've been charged. Now, have you been indicted? That's a different story.
That was coming the next day after he killed himself.
And he knew that the indictment was coming. He knew it was coming.
So instead of facing indictment, what did he do? The bitch move.
Well, some people call it that. I look at it like this. If you know that there's no way out and you can't face, there's people that cannot face that time behind
but they don't. He doesn't know what the hell was going to happen.
Agree.
The problem is what
he was going to do time regardless. He didn't want to do it today.
Again, here's the thing. We don't know.
You think him being a projected first round draft pick was going to give him clout to get out of jail time?
We don't know. Everything you're saying is presumptuous of your own, not presumptuous of actual. We do not know what would have happened because he never let it play out. He took the bitch way out. He killed himself.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I'm quite sure.
Hernandez, do you think he took the bitch way out?
Aaron Hernandez was already in jail for what he did.
But that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is Aaron Hernandez got convicted first and then killed himself.
Aaron Hernandez
Lacey didn't. So if
okay, wait. If you want to compare the two, if you want to compare spade to spade, here's what you got to say about Aaron Hernandez. He was known to be a killer on more than one occasion. Of course. This kid did one mistake. Okay. So it's not a spade to a spade.
So what you won't let me finish is if it played out in the aspect of what you're saying, let it play out. He gets convicted. Let's just say.
You always want to go worst case scenario. Give it as it is. There is no worst case scenario. That scenario never happened.
Okay, but you're saying that he made the bitch move because he didn't let it play out. Let's just say he let it play out and he had to do jail time. He ain't built for jail time and he killed himself. He still did a bitch move?
He still did a bitch move.
Okay. Your opinion.
Not my opinion. I'm quite sure if y'all think it was a bitch move or whatever it was, put it in the comments.
Aaron Hernandez got convicted.
He was already in jail.
And then got convicted. He let it play out. He let the court system play out.
You can't compare the two. You cannot compare the two. It was already known that he killed 3 people. Come on, man.
But Aaron Hernandez did kill himself. Yes or no? Was that a bitch move?
Obviously, sensibility.
Was that a bitch move? No. Okay. Okay. I get that. Now, as far as Aaron Hernandez, stick on my point. Do you think that was a bitch move?
No.
So Aaron Hernandez isn't a bitch move, but this nigga facing prison time and can't deal with it is not a bitch move.
Nope.
Okay. That's your opinion. I disagree.
Yeah, it's just my opinion, but then we have 2 opinions. So I guess we're all wrong.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. I have my opinion. You have yours. I disagree with yours. You disagree with mine. Ain't nobody saying
because the situations are 2 different situations, Jay. Aaron Hernandez killed people with a fucking gun, not with a vehicle by accident.
Based off
and didn't feel bad and had no remorse.
Based off what you're telling me,
and no remorse.
Basically, how
he was already drafted.
Anybody that commits suicide does a bitch move, and I don't agree with that. That's how I'm taking what you're saying. Everything that you're saying is like anybody that does a suicide is a bitch move, and that's not always the case.
Did I say that? Did I say everything?
That's how I'm taking it. That's the perception of what you're saying.
Well, you know what? Go ahead and take it that way. Okay. Because obviously we're talking about one situation.
And that's why we disagree.
No, we don't
disagree. That is exactly
we disagree because you want to push Aaron Hernandez killing himself as a bitch move. Aaron Hernandez killed himself because he knew he had killed 3 people.
Okay, Eddie George. He killed himself in the fucking parking lot.
Eddie George did not kill himself.
George.
Get it right. Get it right.
Who was the one?
Get it right.
Who was the football player from Tennessee that killed himself?
It wasn't Tennessee. He didn't kill himself. Oh my.
Well, they want to say that he killed himself.
He didn't. No, they don't. They said his girlfriend killed him.
In the car, in the parking lot of the fucking stadium.
That wasn't Tennessee. That's Kansas City, dumbass. Not a linebacker.
There was one that came out of Tennessee who
there was nobody.
It was a quarterback. It was a quarterback.
You're thinking Steve McNair, and it was
Steve
not.
McNair.
He did not kill himself. Look at that.
That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about.
Look up Steve.
But yeah, I don't agree that they
don't talk.
that they
do not talk.
No, I don't talk. Don't say
Look it up.
that man killed himself, but how can he kill himself with a shotgun?
Since you won't do it. Since you won't do it. Since you won't do it.
And there's a lot of people that commit suicide based off shit that they've done, and they do not want to deal with the consequences. But some of the consequences that they're dealing with comes from shit, trauma, and drama that they've dealt with all their life, so they have no escape. So there are certain ones that, okay, suicide they feel like is no other option. Do I agree with suicide? I absolutely do not. However, certain people cannot deal with their consequences, so they take themselves out. Doesn't mean to me it's a bitch move. Not in all cases. Not in all.
No, according to you, there's no such thing as a bitch move. That's what you're saying.
No.
So now you recant and say, oh, there are situations that are bitch moves.
There are. If you rape a motherfucking kid, you deserve to kill yourself.
Okay, so here we go. Steve McNair killed an apparent murder-suicide with a young woman who worked at Opry Mills restaurant and had been dating him for months. How was he found? He was found killed, and the woman next to him was found killed with a shot to her head. Let's go down. What happened to happen? Within the fact, the car was not in the police affidavit, but was confirmed by police affidavit. Police allowed McNair to take a cab home. They had to bail Kazemi out of jail, according to bail bondsman. Keith Norfleet, the ex-boyfriend who dated Kazemi for 4 years, was worried about her dating McNair, a married man. She met McNair while she was a waitress at Dave & Buster's.
Of all places. Of all fucking places, Dave & Buster's, really?
I did not know it was Dave & Buster's.
I didn't know that one either. That's new to me. Oh, shit, Dave & Buster's. God damn, they got history now.
I don't know why I don't even want to go there anymore.
You had a date at Dave & Buster's with Steve McNair.
That's how you met him.
So he was that broke?
Well, that doesn't mean he's broke. That just means he's trying to be low profile. At Dave & Buster's.
At Dave & Buster's.
Of all places.
You're
married man.
You're in Tennessee playing for the Titans.
No.
You're married.
No, you got to remember, he was with the Ravens at the time.
Why was he found in the parking lot of the stadium? Was it the Ravens stadium?
He was not in a parking lot. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Was the one that was
the Chiefs player that killed himself because his wife or girlfriend left him. It was a Chiefs player because a player found him.
Before that, though, there was one before that.
I don't know who you're talking about. You're confusing Steve McNair with Jovan Belcher. Jovan Belcher killed his girlfriend and himself in the Chiefs parking lot in front of a coach. That's what you're thinking about. But it was not a Titans player. It was a Chiefs player. And the caveat to this, you know who the coach that found him? Romeo Cornell. I don't think he's coached. He hasn't been the same since. If anybody knows Romeo Cornell, he was actually defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Never mind. Okay.
What?
Mind. There was human remains found at the Tennessee Titans Stadium.
Oh yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. That was my fault. But I did. Steve McNair was one of them because they want to say that this motherfucker shot himself with a goddamn shotgun in this truck.
He didn't.
Who was the one that shot himself in the fucking?
Jovan Belcher. I just told you the name.
That was him, bro. I can't believe that wasn't him.
There
was somebody else that we talked about years ago before this happened. Because Jovan Belcher just happened, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
No, that's been years, dude. That is not recent. Jovan Belcher is not recent.
Jovan Belcher. I remember Vontae Davis.
He just died recently.
Yeah. $2012.
Yeah, that was 13
years ago.
13 years ago.
Compared to everything that's going on in this time frame, that was a few years ago. Shit moving fast, god damn it. And then Steve McNair, how long ago was that? That was years ago.
I actually have.
02?
I actually have
Was that
McNair
02?
jersey. I have a McNair jersey.
You get the fuck out of here. You got a Ravens McNair jersey.
Yep, I have
you
a
need
Ravens.
to trash that shit.
I'm not
if you
trashing
get a McNair jersey, it needs to be the Titans jersey. That's the best of his career right there.
Shit, that year with the Ravens, we put it this way: if he did not kill himself, that year we had with him was one of the best as a quarterback that we had seen. If he had been able to do the second year, we might have won the Super Bowl that year. But I'm not even going to talk about that year. The next year after that, we're not going to talk about because that wasn't a good year.
No, but the whole thing about it with this LSU player, here's what upsets me about that situation. Okay, we could say he didn't let it play out, right? But like I just said before, guilt and grief is a motherfucker.
No, what you should go to before is like this generation doesn't know how to deal with anything. They don't know how to accept consequences for the actions.
You know what? I didn't growing up. It was hard for me to understand, accept, and deal. And I did jail time. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, would we say that falls back on parenting? You could, but an individual is an individual.
Well, here's the thing. Between and people that have been in the class that I was with understanding people, between the age of birth until 5 or 6 years old, the responsibility relies on the parent to teach right from wrong, up from down, left from right. After that, once they enter the school system, that's when you start worrying as a parent the most. Once you get past SIDS, that's when you start worrying the most because then you're like, I'm trusting the system to help me make my child a steward of society.
Here's my caveat to what you just said, right?
Unless you do homeschooling, then it's different.
And I'm actually in favor with homeschooling nowadays more than sending my kid to school.
I'm sorry, I don't have the time to do it. So
and that's the key right there. That is the key.
However, I will say this: I did find this out on my own reconnaissance. That
with reconnaissance, you got released on your own reconnaissance.
No, understand this. When it comes to homeschooling, if you homeschool, the state will pay you.
Yep,
for homeschooling your child.
They will. They absolutely
just not enough.
will. They absolutely
just not
will.
enough.
The state doesn't pay enough. Period. Whether you work for the state or not. But the thing about it, here's the reason why I say what I said. Taking everything of what you just said, you're absolutely right. But I would not just rely
I didn't say
on the education system to make them a steward. Here's the thing.
Did I say
Let me finish though.
No, wait. Did I just say the education by itself?
But I'm not saying you. I'm saying there's people out there that have TV raise their kids, that have the school babysitting raise their kids, and you're not supposed to do that.
That's what you need to say.
You didn't give me that opportunity.
Your whole way you were going was you were trying to say according to what you said.
Let me finish my thought. The whole thing about it, and this in my household is what I do. And you do it yourself. Self-education. Because when you rely on the school system to teach your kids something, they're going to teach your child how to be a minion, how to be a pinion in the pond. When they can own, when they can build, where they can grow, where they can flourish. But it does start within the household. So yes, everything that you said is correct, especially during that age. But I would give that age range a greater grade. I would say till 12 years old. I would
work like that, dude.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I know it doesn't. I got 2 grown ass kids. I know it doesn't.
Again, like I said, I took a class specifically about understanding people. There is no up to 12. It's 0 because you know why? Because whose care are they in? 0 to 5, sometimes 6. Whose care are they in the most?
Shit, after 3 years old, not even 3, at 2, they in daycare. If at 2, some
Again,
of them put them in daycare at newborns.
Well, you can't as a newborn.
It's
got to be 6 months at least because they have to have their shots. I know that.
6 months is still a newborn to me.
Now,
you know what I mean?
But the
6 months is still a newborn to me.
But the whole thing is, like I just said, the reliability is of the parent because it's been 90. Put it this way: when they're a newborn, they only let them go to daycare for a short amount of time, 3-4 hours.
At what age?
6 months.
At 6 months, right?
And then once they get to, I think 3 or 4 or something like that, then they can go starting. They got to be potty trained to go a full day. They got to be potty trained to go a full day.
They got 3 years old, they go a full day. 4 years old, they start preschool. 5 years old, they in kindergarten. And then they
what 4-year-olds going to preschool?
Well, out here, you got 4-year-olds that go to preschool. Out here at 2.5, at 2 years old and 10 months, you can start Head Start. You got a Head Start program, then you got preschool, and then you got kindergarten. I know that because with my youngest son, that's what happened. Yeah, and
ironically, they started preschool at 4. There ain't nobody starting preschool at 4.
Shit. Ironically, my youngest son, the daycare that he was at, he started preschool at, and he was in his later 3s. He was later in his 3s. Yeah, he just passed 3 because he had to go to preschool first. And they did the preschool and they did the daycare and preschool.
I didn't want to do this, but
no, I'm dead serious.
I've never heard of preschool at 3. I'm sorry.
No, I'm telling you.
I've never heard of preschool at 3.
Go to Pendergrass School District because he couldn't even start.
Pendergrass?
Gast. Because he couldn't even start kindergarten until he was a solid 5 years old. And with him, his birthday's in late November. So he was always a little bit late.
Wait, preschool.
And the preschool that he went to was at the daycare that he had. That's the crazy part about it. How he got preschool in the daycare?
Okay, there it is. Preschool program designed for 3 and 4 year olds.
Told you. 3 and 4.
Wait, was it designed program? It's a half day. So okay, that's what I was about to say. It's not a full day.
But some of them do full days. But the full
look, even
No, I'm not. He just read it out. Now, with some people,
4 I can understand, but 3?
No.
That's why I was like, wait.
No, 3 and 4. You just read it
because you just
but you just read it though, right?
But here's the thing. The reason why they put 3 because you have some advanced.
Because they got Head Start. That's what I'm saying. If you could put them in Head Start at 2.5.
Head Start at 2.5.
You can. Because there's one that I can't remember the preschool's name. It's called motherfucking they got one off of Deer Valley and fucking it's something for tots. It's some goddamn it's a big one that's out here. I think you've seen it before. They might have, I don't know. Look, between 3 and 5, right there, right? Now, Head Start, you get them in Head Start.
Actually, correction. It says they can go around 2.
2, okay, even 2.
So basically, but the number one thing is they have to be potty trained.
Exactly. So that's number one. But that shows that advancement, though. That's what you're saying.
No. Think about it, though. Does that really show advancement? My kid can potty train? That don't mean shit to me.
To you, to the system, it does.
Because they ain't got
exactly my point. You're proving my point of everything I've been saying right now. So it's like you put your kid in Head Start at 2 years old. Why? Because we're so trained. Mothers are so goddamn trained right now that after they have a child, they bond with the child 2-3 months, and then they get a babysitter for the child so they can go back to work, right? And then from the babysitter, say that?
Put your kids in school at 2.5 years old. You just keep trying to get rid of baby.
Exactly what I've been trying to say.
For the couple hours.
That's my whole point of what I've been trying to say. The way the system is made, you get these women that get so trained and independent.
It's
So independent. Well,
it's not that either.
Well, the situations, because certain situations are different.
I'm gonna tell you
certain
what it
women
is.
have to. I get it. Certain women have to. Other women's they choose to. But the way that the system is, it's like, oh, as a woman, I've had a kid. I'm gonna spend 60 days bonding with them off paternity leave. But when that paternity leave runs up, whatever you call it, it runs out.
It ain't what it's called.
Whatever. It runs out. I got to go back to work. So now I got to get a babysitter. Now I got to pay for a babysitter. Oh, all of a sudden he gets of age. I got to put him in preschool or Head Start with this, that, and third. All that shit costs money. Daycare is high as its head.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Bro, in Germany, you got a kid, they'll pay. The country will fucking pay you.
Most countries do. Australia, the same thing. They pay you for your child
for the first year.
So here's the thing. Here's what I want you to understand. It's part of that, but the main reason is postpartum depression is real.
A motherfucker.
That's why they're as soon as they can get rid of their kid, they get rid of them. Because a lot of them are raising their kids by themselves.
Correct.
For whatever bad.
That is a valid point. That is a valid point.
And the thing is, really hear the word I'm saying. Out of the bad decisions that they've made, they feel like that's the best decision. I need a break. Here, take this kid for at least 4 hours. Let me get back to myself.
The postpartum, I agree with.
That's why they're putting these kids in the system, because they feel like they don't have it. There we go. Wonder why so many psychopaths, sociopaths run around, because
they ain't got that motherly and fatherly bond.
They don't have.
I know fathers that's taking, what do you call it? Maternity leave.
Paternity leave.
Paternity.
There is a such thing as paternity leave now.
Okay.
For fathers. Okay. For mothers, it's maternity leave.
Well, whatever yeah. So I know fathers that's taking paternity leave. Actually, and they're getting.
Actually, I know a family.
Days.
Shout out to the gentleman who just came back to work at my job after paternity leave. Because what's happening now, companies have gotten smart. Like it does take two to raise a child. So what do? They give the fathers paternity leave with the mothers.
I don't think 2 months is enough.
It's not now. It's up. You can take up to, I think, 6 months to a year.
Really?
So yeah, it's like you ain't been. No. Look it up. It's a law. They can take up to 6 months without being penalized. It's a law.
But they're not getting paid for it though, right?
You got to take a short term or something like that, short term disability or something like that.
Okay.
But more like they're going to give it to you for that.
Okay. All right.
So, and that's because they realize one parent can't do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Hell, two parents can't do it by themselves.
For real.
And I don't care what you say. It's still, in this day and age, it takes a village, because what I like to say when like right now, I'm in the middle of training somebody new for work.
Okay.
And what I say is, I want you to get the perspective that I do things, but also I want you to get the perspective of somebody else on the team, how they do things as well. And you form your own how to do it. Because you know why? Doing it one way, and you say, well, why are you doing it like that? Well, so-and-so trained me to do it that way. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, things have changed. Well, what I want you to get a different perspective to see what's
now. I do want to understand this, though. I don't know if this is an Arizona thing as far as with the preschool.
Well, the whole thing is, when I looked it up, it didn't just say Arizona.
It didn't say Arizona, right?
It just gave the whole notion.
But everybody was getting on me like, at 3 years old, you're in preschool. Yeah, it does happen.
Wait a minute. That pulled up California. It says in LA, as young as 2. What are they doing in LA? Let's look up this. How many serial killers in LA?
Oh, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. But I do know for a fact in Arizona, you can put your kid in preschool at 3 years old,
and it's half a day. But it's still.
But in certain situations, you could do full days if you do it 3 days a week. The other 2 days, that kid's at home.
All I know is when I was in preschool, and I hope my sisters chime in and let me know if I'm right or wrong, but I could have sworn I was at 4.5, 5, and I could only do a half a day till I turned 5.
At 5, you got kindergarten, and they give you the option.
Depends on your birthday if you're in kindergarten.
That does happen too.
Like mine's is a November birthday, so I'm not going to kindergarten
until
next year. I can go into 5.
You're that borderline.
I have to be.
Yeah. You're that borderline.
Right. So it depends on where your birthday is, and that determines where you're at pre-K or kindergarten or whatever. So I know I did pre-K, and then when my mom was at work, she put me in a pre-K program that was half a day, and she was working radio at the time. It was really across the street from the radio station. And I think it's still there to this day. I need to probably go in there and say, hey. So, but in case you were trying to understand, True said because he was getting hyped, we was telling him to calm down. But the thing is, like you said, in Arizona, we might have to look at that a little bit more. In Arizona, may be different from everywhere else.
It could be.
Which I can understand. When you come out west, things are a little bit differently than back east.
Our school, our dates on our school years is different because of the climate.
Well,
we don't get out in June. There's a lot of people back east that get out in June. We don't. We get out in May, April sometime.
It ain't got nothing to do with climate.
You don't think so?
Nope. I'm gonna tell you.
Ain't nobody going to no goddamn school in no 110 degrees in June.
Again, it ain't got nothing to do with climate. What it has to do with is the fact if you go back and look at all the days off that are given to teachers and everything else in Arizona, and you add them back up, guess where you end at the middle of June? It's because they've taken the school year and given more breaks during the school year out here. That's why it's in May. You don't want to believe it. Do it yourself. Do them. I did it myself, the math. I'm like, well, damn, if I add all these half days back up and put it back in, oh shit, I ain't up in June again. Back east, they ain't got all the time off. They go straight to straight unless it's snow, and then they go home.
They got snow days, and then they got to make up from them days.
And sometimes you don't get out till late June. I think one year they had to get a waiver from the school district to say, hey, we, by this notion, we ain't going back till July. The school districts were like, the state stepped in like, wait. How much actually did they miss as far as school? Were you able to get it made up? Well, we ain't letting it. I think it was the latest was my mother's birthday, June 23rd or something, June 19th, 23rd, around there. And that was
y'all had a short summer. Y'all had a short summer.
No, it's still back in September. Instead of letting it go back in end of August, they go first week of September.
Well, see, and here's the crazy part about it. I see the school years out here starting earlier and earlier. Because when I got out of school, we got out of school around either just before or right at Memorial Day. And we wouldn't go back to school until after Labor Day. Now, motherfuckers going to school August 14th and shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
August 14th, August 8th.
Yeah, like the August, nigga, we still 125 out here. What the fuck? Anyway, folks, thank y'all for tuning in.
We went over. Show. Y'all got bonus.
Yeah, because you want to talk to me about the school district and the age limits and shit. Man, I know my age limits out here. I don't know about Maryland. I know out here. Anyway, folks, no show next week. Enjoy your Easter.
It will be a replay because, like I said, when we don't have shows, we're doing replays.
But I want you to enjoy your Easter, whether you celebrate it or not. Enjoy your weekend. Oh, celebrate 420 for me.
Wait. I almost forgot.
What's up?
The PSA. Fellas.
Oh, Lord. I'm about to
these Easter suits.
I'm about to end the
Stop wearing them too tight and too short.
I'm about to end the
show. It is not a flood.
Stop.
Ain't a flood coming.
Especially when they
wear a suit that fits. We don't need to see the heartbeat in your chest.
Especially when they wear the light green. Oh, God. No.
The light green, the hot pink, the pastel blue.
Oh,
Are you a business owner or someone looking for more ways and avenues to advertise and promote? Look no further. Contact us today for an advertisement. Email PD&J Media Productions LLC at gmail.com for more info. Promotions are everything. What are you waiting for?